As I sit here and take in all of the news from every direction, all I see is deceivers, liars, corporate media, cover-ups, agenda, all pushing the same propaganda. It's time for a game changer, a visionary, an innovative person who changes the way that people think of the situation. It's time for Game Changer TV, telling it like it is. Get in the game. There is no list. Thank you for tuning into Game Changer TV. I'm your host, Terri Lynn, and this is the channel where every day we're telling it like it is. Today is July 12th, 2025, and there is no doggone list. There's no list. There's no list, so just shoo along. The Justice Department came out, and the official stance on Jeffrey Epstein is that there is no client list. No client list exists in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking files. So why is Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in jail if there's no clients? Because if there were no clients, then there were no victims of sex trafficking. But the Justice Department says there is no client list. There's no list. Now, here's attorney Alan Dershowitz. He was on O.J. Simpson's dream team. He got his law degree at Yale. He's a professor at Harvard. This says 4 hours ago. Alan Dershowitz claims he knows who is on the Epstein client list. So he is graduated from Yale. He's a lawyer. He's a professor at Harvard Law School. And he says that he saw the list. Let's hear this.
I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong.
So a Yale lawyer who now teaches at Harvard says he knows who's on the list, but he is confidentiality, gag order. He cannot disclose who is on the list, but people are being protected. Files are being suppressed, but we're being told there is no list. Now, listen to Trump being asked in the past about releasing Epstein's files.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But, yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
When can we expect the Epstein documents to be released? The rest of them?
Which documents?
The Epstein files?
I don't know. I'll speak to the Attorney General about that. I really don't know. I know that we've done the RFK, the Kennedy, Martin Luther King is out there very shortly, so we'll find out. But we've really announced we're doing them in full transparency. You know, when we did JFK, people were saying, oh, maybe it wasn't all, it was all. And people actually went up to the office and they looked at some things that were, you know, not really easily available. And they were amazed that we gave it all. And I don't know if it solved any problems for people. People still have questions one way or the other, but that I'm not. But 100% of all of these documents are being delivered.
When can we expect the Epstein documents to be released? The rest of them?
Which documents?
The Epstein files?
I don't know. I'll speak to the Attorney General about that.
Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Epstein, in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you.
Do you really think that Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death? I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who was a very good friend of Epstein,
he said Bill Clinton, who is a very good friend of Epstein, and Trump was very good friends with Bill and Hillary. They were in attendance at Trump and Melania's wedding. So let's get back to this.
he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. So why did he say 4 times? And then the question you have to ask is, did Bill Clinton go to the island? Because Epstein had an island that was not a good place, as I understand it, and I was never there. So you have to ask, did Bill Clinton go to the island? That's the question. If you find that out, you're going to know a lot. Thank you very much.
Bill.
From January 8th, 2024, it says Donald Trump named in Epstein documents. Sarah Ransom said he had bank with many girls an email where she also claimed PEDs had tapes of the ex-president, Richard Branson, Prince Andrew, and Bill Clinton. Then in June, we had Elon Musk tweeting out, time to drop the really big bomb. Elon Musk tweeted out to the real Donald Trump, the real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Musk says Trump is named in the Epstein files. Then this says from July 3rd, 2025, so this was 9 days ago, Elon Musk demands Epstein files release while mounting last-minute attack on Trump's mega bill. So then Trump got mad that Elon was insulting the big, beautiful bill and the fact that he said he was going to start another political party, the American Party. So in between that time, Musk came out and said, I might have tweeted out some things that I shouldn't have tweeted out. So it died down for a few days. But then they started insulting each other about the big, beautiful bill and about his new political party. So it says, the Musk-Trump feud returns. Ex-owner post about Epstein list again after president calls Elon Musk American Party ridiculous, and Elon Musk demands the Epstein files be released while he was mounting his last-minute attack on Trump's big, beautiful bill. And Elon Musk comes back and insists that Trump is involved in this. Nothing like two friends knowing each other's dirty laundry and having a falling out and wanting to expose each other. But Elon Musk says he is involved in this. Alan Dershowitz says he knows names, but he's forbidden to talk about it. But there is a list and he has seen it. And Trump has called Jeffrey Epstein a creep. He has said Bill Clinton was friends with the guy, making it sound like he wasn't no friends with this guy. June 5th, just a couple of days before there was announcement that there was no list, time to drop the really big bomb at the real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the real reason why they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. Then July 8th, this says top House Democrats demand release of Epstein files that mention Trump. January 8, 2024, Ashley Banfield reports that Trump flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 7 times. Let's hear this.
Quote him. This is what the Democrats do to their This is what the Democrats do to their Republican opponent, who is leading them by a lot in the polls. This is AI, and it is very dangerous for our country. Also, I was never on Epstein's plane or at his stupid island. Strong laws ought to be developed against AI. It will be a big and very dangerous problem in the future, end quote. Here is the problem I have with this, not the AI part, that was awful. I have a problem with what he said because only part of his denial may be true. There is no record of Donald Trump ever visiting Jeffrey Epstein's Caribbean island, Little St. James. That is clear. But there is plenty of hard evidence that he rode on Epstein's plane, and not just one time, 7 times, at least 7 times. And we know at least 7 times. And we know that because his name appears in flight logs that are submitted to the FAA. Here's what they reveal. Trump flew 4 times in 1993. He flew once in 1994 and again in 1995. Those are in addition to a flight that was previously reported and documented in 1997. All of the flights were between Palm Beach and New York City. And the logs show Epstein was on board the plane with Trump as well, each of those times. The 1994 flight is notable because Trump's then wife, Marla Maples, is also listed on the flight log. And according to those logs, they decided to bring along their then infant daughter, Tiffany Trump, as well as the family's nanny. They are all on the log. On the flight in 1995, the logs say that Trump also brought along his then 12-year-old son, Eric Trump. So, again, these are documents that are submitted to the FAA. These are not just claims made by someone in a deposition. So it is hard to sort of reconcile when the president says, I was never on that airplane.
1 second.
So Trump's hard denial, I was never on the plane, reminded me of Bill Clinton's hard denial that he never had sex with Monica Lewinsky.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
These are submitted to the FAA. These are documents that are submitted to the FAA. These are not just claims made by someone in a deposition. So it is hard to sort of reconcile when the president says, I was never on that airplane.
August 14th, 2024, from the Miami Herald. Why Trump flew to campaign events on Jeffrey Epstein's plane last week. Go look it up. Just type in Trump used Epstein plane to fly to events. Trump used Epstein's former plane. Trump flew on charter jet previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, this is another one. Donald Trump flew on Epstein's plane. Former President Trump's campaign flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Trump's plane on the campaign trail supposedly broke down. So they had to get a charter plane, and it just happened to be one that Epstein owned. Somebody found out that it was Epstein's plane, but Trump said he didn't have any knowledge of it, that it once belonged to Epstein. He just accidentally ended up on a plane that belonged to Epstein when he was flying to political campaign last year.
Confirmed in the last hour that former President Donald Trump's campaign flew in a blue Gulfstream jet formerly owned by sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, using it to travel to several campaign fundraisers over the weekend. According to a Trump campaign spokesperson, Trump, en route on his own private plane to a campaign event in Bozeman, Montana last week, unexpectedly landed in Billings because of mechanical problems. He and part of his staff then flew on a small charter plane to Bozeman for a rally Friday night. The next day, he switched to another larger plane with a serial number that matches a plane once owned by Epstein. The plane is now owned by a private charter company. The spokesperson told the Herald this, quote, "The campaign had no awareness that the charter plane had been owned by Mr. Epstein. We heard about the former owner through the media," end quote.
Megyn Kelly's going viral for going... And Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary who was Miami U.S. Attorney, Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
This creep that I hosted at my house many times, that I rode on his plane last year. This creep that I rode on his plane 7 times, and last year on my campaign flights, I was using a plane that he once owned that I just happened to accidentally end up on. Y'all want to talk about this creep? After Elon Musk this whole past week saying, Donald Trump, you were on this list. Let's see it, Donald Trump. This creep? We're still talking about this creep? Jeffrey Epstein once bragged that he introduced Trump to Melania. Business Insider reported this last year. Jeffrey Epstein, the wealthy financier charged with trafficking, reportedly bragged that he was the one who introduced Donald Trump and Melania. Daily Mail reported it. Epstein claimed he introduced President Trump to wife Melania. As it was revealed that the two men were the only guests at a party with 28 young swimsuit models at Mar-a-Lago. The Mercury News reported Jeffrey Epstein boasted that he played matchmaker for Donald and Melania Trump. This creep that introduced me to my wife, this creep? Y'all still talking about him? About this creep? After Elon Musk this whole past week saying, Donald Trump, you were on this list. Let's see it, Donald Trump. He's trying to deflect. July 6, 2025. DOJ FBI review finds no Jeffrey Epstein client list. Confirmed suicide.
You want to know who the people who did this to these girls were? You know Trump was one of them. And that's why you'll do nothing about this. You'll shut up and you'll obey and you'll never mention it again. And you'll be so afraid that you've crossed the line with Trump. So afraid that you've crossed the line with Trump. This position you claimed was the center of your political being. The protection of these young girls was all a lie. And that, folks, is the elephant in the room. Don't you want to know?
But the DOJ and the FBI says there was no client list. And Dan Bongino is threatening to resign. He's telling people he's going to resign amid the Epstein files fallout. And then a few hours later, yesterday, Kash Patel came out and said, if Dan Bongino goes, I'm going. Kash Patel will resign if Dan Bongino leaves. FBI chief frustrated with Pam Bondi. But there's no files. Trump released the list, but it wasn't the list since there isn't a list except for the list that isn't a list. Except last year, Don Jr. admitted there was a list.
All the other lists, as long as I'm not on the Epstein list, we're good, right? Speaking of which, how is it that my father could be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right? I'm fine with all the other lists. As long as I'm not on the Epstein list, we're good, right?
So he admitted there was a list. And on July 3rd, 2025, Trump's bromance friend, Elon Musk, starts demanding that the Epstein files be released. July 6th, Daily Beast reported that Pam Bondi was hit with a formal demand to answer Elon Musk's claim about Donald Trump and Epstein. The letter follows the billionaire's bombshell allegation that the president is in the Epstein files. And the next day, Pam Bondi blasted as the DOJ and the FBI review finds that there's no existence of the Epstein client list.
Well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes, that's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all just missed. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best to forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, Kash Patel. Well, I wouldn't wanna be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I hope, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe. So it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war, what else are we for? They owe.
See, there is no list. Except for the Bible says that in the last days, evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Don't put your confidence in a man, because men are liars and deceivers. Put your trust in God, and you will not be deceived in these crazy times that we are in. I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Don't be deceived by their propaganda in Jesus' name. If you appreciate the content that I bring on this channel, would you prayerfully consider supporting the channel? I'm a single mom to an adult, mentally challenged, autistic son. We are love offering supported only. I'm not monetized. I don't work outside the home. It's your kindness that supports us, that allows me to stay in the home. So if you appreciate this channel and what the truth that I bring on it, would you prayerfully seek the Lord to see if you should offer a love offering? Thank y'all for watching. I love y'all. Bye-bye.